Yaariyan. This movie came out in 2014, and 12-year-old me probably thought this movie was a masterpiece. Okay, I'm over exaggerating here, but I do remember actually enjoying it. Recently, I was searching for something to watch, and I came across the second installment of this movie. And instantly, hit with nostalgia, I decided to rewatch the first movie. So the story starts with Laksh, our main lead, who is a college student. At the start, Laksh tells us three things about himself. First, how much he loves his father, who by the way was a soldier that sacrificed his life for his country. And second, how much he wants to leave the same country his father died for. And third,
कहते हैं कि लाइफ सब कुछ सिखा देती है, पर मैंने लाइफ में जो सीखा बस दोस्तों से, यारों की यारियों से।
Huh?
now let's talk about the friend group. Of course, we have Laksh, our main character, who hates his country and loves hot girls, and that is it. That's his whole personality. And then we have Patty. He looks a lot like Lucky from Malcolm. Or is it just me? And then we have Neil, who has the most random introduction scene and who also has less screen time than even the extras. Then we have Gia. I have no idea what the purpose of her character is in this movie. She might not be in the movie and nothing would change. And then, of course, we have Saloni, our female lead. And this is her introduction scene. Where is she calling from? The heaven? And of course, she's probably the most gorgeous girl on campus, but nobody finds her attractive because, of course, she's wearing glasses. Oh, and there's also Debu, who is Laksh's childhood friend who went to Australia for his education. The main conflict. Now, enter Rockefeller, an Australian businessman who has bought half the land the college is built upon. Now, his brilliant plan is to demolish the college and build a casino and a hotel. The principal tries to convince him that building a casino next to an educational institution, well, might not be the best idea, but Rockefeller's response to that is this.
Well, he said that Indian students तो सिर्फ पढ़ाई में interested हैं, culture में, sports में, उनकी कोई दिलचस्पी नहीं है, उनको कोई interest नहीं है.
Like, what? First of all, what were we talking about again? Where did this sports and culture thing came from? And second of all, have you seen a Bollywood dance sequence? It's basically a national sport. Anyway, instead of just saying, well, too bad it's my line now, Rockefeller challenges the principal to a sports and cultural competition between India and Australian students. If the Indian students win, they get to keep their college. If they lose, well, they lose half the college. The principal picks 5 students for the competition: Laksh, Patty, Neil, Gia, and Saloni. Why them? You might ask, what are the criteria that they are selected for the competition? Well, the answer is that they are the main characters. What did you expect? The competition consists of 5 rounds: the rock music competition, chess, motorbike race, cycling, and rock climbing. Paddy apparently plays the drum, even though we only see him doing it like once. Neil is the biker guy. Saloni, the nerd, obviously is going to play chess. And then there's Laksh and Gia, who have zero particular talents. The team heads to Australia for the first half of the competition, and there they reunite with Debu, and in a classic Bollywood fashion, they all dance on the beach with the Australian team. Round 1, the rock competition. The Indian team loses, but that's not the real issue. The Australian team steals their song, Debu confronts them, gets beaten up, lands in the hospital. Yet the Indian team still manages to perform a brand new song. Then, do you know what happens? Debu dies. The one likable character, and they kill him off. And they never even tell us what his actual injuries were. They just vaguely say he's in a critical condition and then boom, he's dead. Round 2, India wins. Round 3, Australia wins. At this point, the Australian team is leading and the second half of the competition moves to India. The Indian team returns home along with Debu's ashes. Before the Australian team arrives in India, our main leads fall in love, do all the Bollywood romance stuff, singing, dancing, running through a scenic location. By the way, how cold was this poor girl shooting for this music video? Then the Australian team arrives, and we learn that Laksh has been secretly working for the Australian team in exchange for Australian citizenship. But wait, Neil is also working for the Australian team.
Huh?
Here's a real kicker. Laksh already knew about Neil's betrayal and planned to frame him so that Neil would take all the blame when India loses. However, Neil overhears this, feels betrayed, and confronts Laksh. Of course, in the end, we find out Laksh was actually doing this to stop Neil from betraying the team. So at the end, India wins, the college is saved, and I sit there feeling nothing but relief that this movie is finally over. There are so many ridiculous things in this movie that drove me insane. Like, why would a businessman make such a dumb bet over a land that he bought? Why are teenagers risking their lives for this? Why are all the adults just standing around and watching this like it's the Hunger Games? And where are the police? Someone already died, and an attempted murder happens live on screen. And most importantly, the guy who is responsible for Devu's death just gets away with it. And that isn't even the crazier part. It's that Devu's mother was just like, I forgive you. Honestly, I would have preferred if the movie stuck with the ridiculousness of its first half. The second half tries to get all serious and dark, but it just does not work because the script is just a mess. The only saving grace of this movie are the songs. The party songs are kinda corny, but they are still better than the whole movie. But other than that, this was a total waste of 2 hours. Actually, 4 hours because I already wasted my time watching it as a teen.